Pretti Rika, a Natina story. Episode 1, When the World Started Whispering Back. Prologue, When the World Started Whispering Back. I believe I was about 7 or younger when I first started seeing and hearing things that didn't make sense to me at the time, things I didn't yet have language for, but that I could never forget. Back then, I didn't know I was crossing into something I would still be trying to understand years later. The first sign, Granny's house. My very first experience happened at my grandmother's house on my mom's side. That morning, it was just her and me because my older cousins, who were usually there, had all gone to school. I didn't go that day because I had a cold. And whenever I went with just a cough and a doctor's note, they would call my parents and either my daddy or my big cousin Little Lee would come get me. Most of the time, I ended up with Aunt Julia for the day, which I actually enjoyed. My granny and I were sitting together in the den while she cracked pecans on the bottom of the chair she was sitting in. We were watching The Price is Right when she noticed I kept staring into the kitchen. She asked if I was okay. Without thinking, I just blurted out, "Granny, who's that?" She didn't see anyone. I could tell by her face, but she didn't question me or make me feel strange. She just smiled like she understood something I didn't yet understand. Episode 2, When Sound Started Speaking. The second time, when sound started speaking. About a week later, it happened again, but this time it was only sound. I was home with my daddy while my mommy was still at work and my sisters were outside playing. He was doing something outside, so I was alone inside my parents' bedroom with the door open. The kitchen was lit and empty, but I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, like an older person walking across the floor. And that wasn't the only time. It always happened when I was alone, always when it was quiet. Episode 3, The Trailer and the Darkness. The trailer, What Is Up With This House Man? And that trailer we lived in, I hated it. It was this off-gray color with blue trimmings on the roof and thin blue lines running through the design. My sisters and I shared a room off the living room, and I could barely sleep in there, especially when I was alone, because it was pitch black. Like you couldn't see your own hands in front of your face. I would stare at the ceiling, and no lie, it always felt like I was being lifted and left floating. Silence, fear, and saying BYE I never told my parents because I was afraid they would think I was crazy. It became worse whenever I attended wakes or funerals because I would always see the last mental image of the person. And living in that trailer didn't make anything easier. To this day, I still wonder if that trailer was haunted, or if it was the beginning of a gift God was placing on me. Because it kept happening. Episode 4, Uncle Patch. Uncle Patch, the living room encounter. One time I was at my grandmother's house on my daddy's side. She had already passed, but whenever anything was celebrated on his side, it always involved her house. I was in the living room watching MTV when I turned to my left and saw my Uncle Patch, who had died in a car crash, standing there, black suit. No expression, just staring at me. I didn't say anything when my dad came in and asked if I wanted to go a few houses down to my aunt's house. I immediately said yes, because that was just too much for me. I see dead people, but silently. I honestly felt like that kid from The Sixth Sense, like I should have been saying, I see dead people. And as things continued, I knew I wasn't normal. I was gifted. So I started praying each time it happened, asking God to protect me from anything dark if he was going to trust me with something like this. Episode 5, VSITTONS. VISITTONS, family, CLEBRITS, and signs. Eventually, I even saw my mom's mom again after she passed. I believe she came just to let me know she was okay, healed, and still with me everywhere I go. But she wasn't the only one. Childhood friends, relatives, and even celebrities I loved started appearing in different ways. Aaliyah, Miss Lisa, Left Eye Lopez, and others. And then there was Natina, but I'll get to her in a minute because she is still actively visiting me. The gift of seeing, glimpses of what's coming. As I got older, I was also granted what I call seeing, glimpses of things before they happen. It started in my late teens. I can see things that are good or bad, and if it's meant to stay with me as a message or warning for someone I know, it stays. If it's for someone close to me, I try to tell them, but most of the time they laugh it off. When I can't reach them directly, I keep it to myself and pray everything turns out okay. But the hardest part is when the person is not in my immediate circle. I can't say anything without risking being seen as crazy or blocked out completely. That is exactly what happened with Natina. Episode 6, Before Natina. Before Natina, how it all started. Before I dive into that, I have to explain how I fell in love with Blaque and Natina Reed in the first place. I've always been a huge fan of TLC, especially Lisa, Left Eye Lopez. I watched anything involving them, interviews, specials, performances. I was a music-obsessed kid. I listened closely every time Lisa spoke. One day she mentioned Blaque and spoke about them with so much pride, smiling like she truly believed in them. I knew instantly I had to pay attention. Then I saw Blaque on BET, and their song 808 came on. That's when I first saw Natina. All of them were beautiful, but she pulled me in immediately. And as she rapped, I remember thinking it felt like Lisa herself was watching like, I told y'all. From that moment, I was hooked. The connection, before I even knew it was a connection. Natina later helped me in ways she never even knew. I was bullied because of my voice, but learning she had a softer voice too helped me accept myself more. I watched everything about her: style, humor, hair, energy, writing. She felt like a perfect, imperfect inspiration. Even my grandmother noticed early, saying Natina reminded her of Lisa because of her energy. People later thought TLC influenced my hair choices, especially T-Boz, but it was actually Natina. The only thing I never wanted was her tongue piercing, because honestly, no. The mirror lives, what we had in common. Later I learned we had even more in common. She was not new to entertainment, and neither was I. I did commercials for children's charity events in March, appeared on the news multiple times, and performed in talent shows at camp, singing, rapping, poetry, and more. Natina had that same energy, modeling, acting, writing, everything. She felt like someone I should have learned from directly. I wanted her to be my mentor. But October 26, 2012 took that possibility away. Episode 7, Atlanta. Atlanta, the night everything shifted. The dreams started after I returned from Atlanta, where I attended the Lisa Lopez Music Fest honoring her life and career. At first, I thought I would miss it like always. But a friend surprised me and said he would take care of everything if I found a ride. After asking around, my mom eventually agreed to drive me. So we went, me, my mom, my sister, and my brother. I didn't sleep the entire drive. We got lost a couple times, had hotel issues, but eventually made it. When we arrived, I was overwhelmed. I was finally going to experience something I had always dreamed of. Blaque was going to be there too. My friend arrived, my sister helped me into my wheelchair, and we went inside. The night felt magical. I met Lisa's mother and sister, saw Chili from TLC wave at me, and felt completely at home. Blaque hosted the tribute, and I could not take my eyes off Natina. She had so much energy that night, beatboxing, rapping Biggie's part in Only You, fully owning the stage. I felt like I was floating. But I left with one regret. I never asked to meet her. Episode 8, Dreams. The dreams, the door that wouldn't close. That regret turned into dreams. The recurring dream always started with me arriving at a large, strange house. Shamari DeVoe would answer the door, tell me Brandy wasn't home, and say she knew who I came to see, Natina. We would walk, never drive, and the journey would stretch endlessly into darkness. I would always wake up before reaching her, until the final dream. The final dream, the angel in the hoodie. That night I heard screeching brakes so loud it woke me up asking my sister if a car was outside. She said no. Then I fell into another dream. Lisa appeared with an angel in a white hoodie whose face was hidden. Lisa told me I already knew who she was but was afraid. When the angel revealed her face, I said her name, Natina. She hugged me and told me she would be gone physically but always with me spiritually. I woke up to chaos. Episode 9, The Day Everything Broke. The day everything broke. My phone was blowing up, messages everywhere. Then I saw posts from Brandy and Shamari confirming Natina had passed. My world shattered. I cried until I couldn't breathe. My chest physically hurt for 3 months afterward. Everything stopped. Creativity stopped. Joy stopped. I was harassed online for grieving her because people didn't understand my connection to Blaque. I felt alone until a childhood friend checked on me, Slowly, dreams returned, Natina encouraging me to speak with Shamory. Eventually, Shamory herself left a message saying Natina was shining like a diamond. Even then, nightmares came every year from October 25th until after her birthday, until they stopped about 3 years ago. The regret that never left. The regret I carry is that I was in the same building with her and didn't say anything. I was shy. I didn't ask, and now she was gone. I still cry about it sometimes. I celebrate her every year. Balloons, music, bring it on, tribute shirts, songs I've written in her honor. I've even connected with mediums who tell me she loves every effort I make. She shows signs too. Lights flickering, music changing, chills in my body, my phone playing her verse from Can't Get It Back. Sometimes she comes with my grandmother, and I smell mint when she's near. Now how I live with it. Now in the present day, I don't fight it anymore. If I feel her, I speak to her. If I cry, I let it happen. I call her my spiritual big sister now. Sometimes she's playful, knocking things over, making me shiver until I say her name out loud. I've learned to acknowledge her instead of fear her. She just wants to be acknowledged, so I do it. And I laugh it off like, "Girl, I'm on the phone, you here again? Didn't we hang yesterday?" And on my birthday, she hangs out with my folks all day, so my room for the day is pretty active. But I never mind it because they're all people that I miss in the physical form. Her company never gets old. I love it here. Episode 10, the continuing story. I've also connected with her family, including her son Tren, who carries so much of her spirit, and her loved ones like her Aunt Minster Cynthia Reed and briefly her sister Virginia Reed. And I know this story isn't over, because Natina is still here, just in a different way. Signing off. This has been Pretti Rika, a Natina story. See you next time. Stay beautiful.